Hi there, it's Jeff, and welcome to those that are new to my channel and those that subscribe. Today in this video I'm going to show you how to laminate, sheet laminate like this, onto a substrate. And in my case here I'm going to be doing a kick front for a cabinet. And when you are laminating sheet laminate and you've got long pieces and you've got to glue it on, it can be a little bit tricky, especially on your own. So I'm going to show you how to do that professionally, or how I do it anyway. So keep watching and I'll show you how to do this kick front with the sheet laminate so you can do it for your project as well. Let's get to it. Okay, before we get started, there's just a couple of things I want to run through with you, especially with the materials and products that you could be using to laminate your laminate sheeting to your substrate. Firstly, substrate wise, there is a variety of materials you can use. So in my example for a kick front, I'm just going to be using a bit of off-cut melamine. But if it was in a wet area, it'd be great to use something like a plywood, which would stand up to the wet areas a little bit better. But indoors, like in a bedroom or something like that, where it's not going to get any moisture or water, or high traffic of water anyway, a melamine would be fine, or even an MDF that you could be using to stick your laminate to. Regardless of what you are using though, I would recommend preparing your surface for the glue. Now on this melamine, it's got as you know with melamine, it's got a white surface on both sides, and I've sanded this with an orbital sander just to get rid of that shiny smooth surface that's on this. And it'd be the same if you were using anything that with that sort of a texture or smooth texture. You want to get rid of that and rough it up, scuff it up. And I've just used something like an 80 grade sandpaper for that. If you don't have an orbital sander, just do it with a block, that's fine. Just so you got a surface for the glue to stick to. Now with the glues, this application here of putting the laminate or sticking laminate on, it can be done with regular contact glue that you can brush on. So what that would be is brushing this surface with a layer of contact glue, and then brushing your laminate surface with the contact glue, leaving that to dry a little bit, usually around about 5 minutes, and so you touch it and it's your finger's not sticking to it. And then when the two surfaces go together, they're going to bond. So a laminate glue such as contact is fine for that, or there are spray adhesives or spray contact glues. I've got a couple of examples here of spray contact glues, and these are a lot faster, quicker process where you just spray the contact glue on both surfaces. Again, leave them so they're sort of touch dry, and then you bring the two surfaces together. So I'm going to be using the spray contact glue in this example, and spraying these on, and then to put the laminate, stick it onto here. I'll show you what I'm going to do to tackle the fact that this is long and a little bit awkward to stick down accurately onto your surface. One other little tip also is when you are cutting your laminate sheeting to go onto your surface, so in my case here, to go over this, you should allow a little bit extra either side, so you can trim it flush later, just so when you go to stick this on, you won't be able to stick this on perfectly flush with your edge. It's a little bit too hard or tricky to do that. You want to leave at least 5 millimeters or 1/4 of an inch either side to stick on, and you trim that with the trimmer later with a flush trim bit right round, and you get a nice finish that way. So next step now, we'll apply the contact glue onto both surfaces, and I'll show you what I'm going to do to stick this on in the correct position. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is just wipe my surface, because I'm using this old melamine piece of board and it's got that skin, and it's been sanded just to get rid of the dust and clean the surface. So you're using like plywood, MDF, same thing. You just want to wipe down and just make sure you clean off any dust. I'm just using a little bit of thinners, a bit of alcohol, metho would do, just to clean this surface. But the main thing is that the surface is scuffed up and ready to accept some glue. Okay, next thing now, I've just laid some old newspaper down on the workbench and just put my two pieces down. I've got my melamine substrate here that I'm going to be using as the kick, and the laminate that I've made to size. I've turned it over, and I'm just going to use the contact spray glue and spray just a light coat on both surfaces. Next, okay, I've got my components here that are ready. I've just sprayed the contact glue. It's touch dry, so you can touch it. It won't stick to your fingers now. That's about the ideal time to start looking at putting this together. And what I've done is I've cut some little strips. These are just out of just off-cut MDF. I've made them around about 3/8 wide, 10 mil. And what I'm going to do with these is place these. I've cut them deliberately oversized. I'm just going to evenly place these along this piece. Okay. And some of you are already probably guessing of what's going to happen here. And that is, I'm going to put the laminate over the top of these, and this will allow me to maneuver that laminate into position where I want it. And ideally, I'm going to need to make it even on both sides of this. I've made it oversized, and I'm going to put that over. And what the sticks do, it allows you to maneuver your laminate into position without it sticking onto the surface yet. Then once we're ready, you'll see me pull these out. And the other thing I do have as well, which helps, is a little roller. You can get these from your hardware. I'll leave a link in the description, but these are good just to roll out the laminate so it presses down on the material. So let's give this a go. Okay, once you're happy with where that's supposed to be, the positioning, then it's a matter of just pulling these sticks out nice and easy. Get the roller. And I like to start in the middle with this sort of a concept, and so the air can move out towards the sides. Okay, once you've laid down your laminate, the last thing to do now is to clean up those edges with a flush trim router bit. I'm just going to run this around with a bearing down the bottom, run this all around, and that will clean that laminate flush with my substrate, which in my case is the melamine, and that will be ready to go. So that's the next step. Okay, well there it is. That's how simple it is. And the best thing when you are doing this are these little sticks, these little strips that just help you float your piece over the top, adjust it, then by pulling them out one by one, allows it to press down into the position that you exactly want it. A nice little roller, and yeah, you can laminate using contact spray glue or doing it by brush, works just the same, just as long as you leave it touch dry a little bit before pushing it down. Flush trim bit, as you saw, right around the end, just leaves it nice and tidy. And you can laminate any different design or color that you want to a piece of substrate like I did. Remember, this was just an offcut piece that I had. It's never going to be seen because it's covered by the laminate. So you could use a different substrate for your kickboard if you wanted to. And like I said earlier in the intro, if you were doing it in a wet area, probably a good idea to use some plywood, marine ply if possible, or if you want it to be even safer, you could even undercoat and treat that plywood, you know, so if it does get soak up a bit of moisture, it won't soak in as much. But overall, happy with that job, laminating that one. And that just about wraps up this video. So I hope you liked it or got something out of it. If you did, thumbs up, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date with the latest videos. And hopefully I'm going to see you in one of my next ones.